We are given the opportunity to elect people every 2 years, every year, to local, state, and national office. It takes a lot of work, and that's why we are all here to make sure that our country is strong and protect our freedoms. The URC, the state party, the local districts, we're all in this together, and this year we are supported by the RNC and lucky enough to have Amy Lunde as our North Dakota Victory Director. She is going to share with us her plans for getting out the vote and IDing voters in Cass County and the rest of the state. Please welcome Amy Lunde.
Thanks, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Forgive me, I'm a bit nervous. I actually haven't given somewhat prepared remarks since my 8th grade graduation ceremony. So in the true spirit of an 8th grader, I typed them out and I made sure that my parents were visible in the audience. So they're here today. That's friendly faces. But I want to thank you all for being here. You're probably wondering why Rob asked me to speak. As Victory Director at the party, I feel honored to be part of the first officially coordinated Victory program and Get Out the Vote effort, which I'll refer to as GOTV or the 72-hour program. What is Victory? Typically, it's three-pronged. Voter registration, which since we don't worry about here in North Dakota, makes my job a lot easier. Voter identification and voter mobilization. The program, really, as it's designed today within the Republican Party, came from a letter that was written by a former president, Mr. Abraham Lincoln, when he was still in the Illinois House of Representatives back in 1840. And in it, he wrote, "Our intention is to organize the whole state, to make a perfect list of all the voters, to ascertain with certainty for whom they will vote, to keep a constant watch on the doubtful voters and have them talked to by those with whom they hold the most confidence, and on election day, see that every Whig is brought to the polls." Simple enough, right? Well, let me back up. Person-to-person voter contact programs really began after 2000, when we looked at the numbers and too many Republicans stayed home on election day. GOTV became Get on TV and not Get Out the Vote. So the president's team at that time, led by Karl Rove, who we call the architect of victory, put Lincoln's letter to use. First to seek out Bush supporters, then to ensure that they voted and avoid a repeat disaster of 2000 hanging chads. So when the 72-hour program was first introduced in Wisconsin in 2004, I was a field staffer for the Bush-Cheney campaign, and that year I witnessed hundreds of thousands of voter contacts, of phone calls and door-to-door knocks occur all across the state. By the end, we had 12 operating Victory campaign centers, and we had tens of thousands of Bush volunteers that we put to work. We turned out almost 1.5 million votes for the president. But what I'm most proud of is watching 3 of Wisconsin's counties that had voted for Gore in 2000 turn red for Bush in 2004. Nationally, it wasn't just me. Nationally, though, 156 counties turned red. The president increased his vote share in 48 of 50 states, and Republicans outperformed Democrats on the whole by over 3.8 million votes. So that's proof to me that this program works. This year, North Dakota has a very unique opportunity. We have 2 top-tier targeted races, the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House race. Folks in Washington and all across the U.S. really believe that North Dakota is absolutely critical to gaining back Republican majorities. So far, we think we're sitting pretty good. After all, Governor Hoeven leads the Senate challenger by 54 points. Rick Burr, who's here, is up by 6 against and the national mood is definitely trending our way. I don't want to rain on the parade, but that lead will shrink, believe it or not, in the next 4 months. So what then? Most of us think campaigns are won with TV ads, radio blurbs, and mail. I like to think of polls and commercials as the strategy of a campaign, and while that strategy is important, I consider Get Out the Vote, GOTV, the science of a campaign. So it's the difference between guessing if a commercial has swayed a voter and knowing that that voter cast a ballot for our team. So unless we can literally count those votes, the best we can do is hope, right? If we rest solely on the strategy, all we can do is project and presume. but I want to do better than that. Hoping isn't good enough. 130,541. That's the magic number of Republican votes that we need this year in 2010 to secure victory. It's a program that's designed to help everybody from the top of the ticket onto the bottom. And even with the number of Republicans that we know that we can count on, there's about 50,000 more votes left to identify. And that's where you come in. We need your help. We need volunteers to contact unidentified voters, knock on their doors, call them up, and survey them on the issues that are mattering in 2010. Our goals are high. We need to make 10,000 dials each week to the unidentified voter universe. It's that big. And across the state, if we break it up for the 4 victory centers that we're hoping to have up and running by the end of next week, that's 2,500 dials at each center. That's 400 dials a day. That's 4 volunteers a day if each one makes 100 calls. It's doable. It's absolutely attainable. North Dakota is unique in that we are allowing 25 counties to vote by mail starting September 13th. So if you think about it, Election Day has become 40 days long. It's no longer one day. And if voters can vote in September, much of that campaign strategy of commercials and messaging isn't going to matter. People are going to have cast their vote a week after Labor Day, despite how much money is spent on TV ads in October. So the time to ID voters is now. We start the turnout process in September, so building that get out the vote universe has to start today. But it takes an army, it takes a militia of volunteer power to carry out that plan. Volunteers have immense influence and power. Studies show that volunteer phone banks actually perform better than paid phone banks. Voters are smart. We can tell when the person on the other end of the line actually believes in the cause or the candidate, or if they're just getting paid $7.75 an hour to make a survey call. I believe in the power of voter ID and GOTV, but even more strongly in the power of volunteers and that neighbor-to-neighbor contact. Voters are looking to their neighbors, to the people they sit next to in church, to the people they see at the grocery store, to the parents at the PTA meetings, and to you to help decide who they're going to support. Think about it. You're not here today for a title or a reward. You're here because you care about the future of our nation and our state, purely for the cause. And when volunteers believe in the cause, they bring credibility to this program. So it rests in your hands. This year it's not enough to watch Fox News and shake our heads that Congress doesn't listen to its constituents. It's not enough to forward email chains about Obama and conspiracy theories and the bailouts. And it's not enough to just pat ourselves on the back because we support the Republican Party. We must identify 130,541 voters. And we must ensure that they check the box on election day. So we have 118 days until November 2nd, but we have 69 days until absentee voting begins. I can talk numbers all day until I'm blue in the face, but unless we start dialing, they're still just numbers on a page. So I'm issuing a challenge today to all of you. I challenge you to make a conscious decision to join the victory team and to help us ID and turn out our vote roll. So will you recruit 10 more volunteers? Will you devote an hour a week to coming in and making voter ID phone calls? Will you make calls from home? Will you go knock on doors and talk to voters face to face? Our goals are increasing, and like I said, 10,000 dials a week is our goal. Every call counts. Every single contact matters as we build the Get Out the Vote universe. This program, these phone calls, they're designed to help Governor Hoeven. They're going to pull Rick Berg across the finish line in that 3 to 5%. They're going to help Joe Heilman. They're going to help Spencer Berry. They're going to help your local candidates too. And this is the year that we will make the difference in North Dakota, not only by replacing Byron Dorgan and Earl Pomeroy, but setting the bar higher for 2012. And if we do it right, I think Senator Conrad may just decide it's not worth his energy to run against an organized, effective Republican party. So Chris Berg and Adam Montgomery, my spirited teammates, are around. They have sign-up sheets in the back if you're willing to join the team and sign up to come into a phone bank and make some calls. They're really fun. We've got new technology that we're utilizing, and you don't even have to leave a message. Which is great. Really, we need your help today. So finding 50,000 more supporters just can't wait. I'm going to close by stealing a few more lines from President Lincoln. He closed his note saying, "Trusting much in our good cause, the strength of our candidates, and the determination everywhere to do our duty, we go to work confident of success. We have the numbers, and if properly organized and exerted, we shall meet our foes and conquer